speaking of, M&Ms and people leaving and getting rid of things, we got rid of Daft Punk, right? We got rid of Daft Punk not too long ago. They left back in 2021, I think it was, they broke up, right? 2021 they broke up. And since they broke up, everyone's, encouraging them to come back. We want Daft Punk. We want Daft Punk. Well, no, it's not going to happen right now. We're going to have a solo album actually coming out. That's going to be the first thing. A 90-minute score that shows scant regard for conventional stylistic boundaries. I'm feeling a love of barbesque music. Barbecue music and traces of American minimalism.
Music. Baroque music.
Baroque. I don't know what the hell that shit is, Mike. You tell me what Baroque is. I'm like barbecue.
Baroque,
it makes no sense to me.
Same.
Barbecue.
It comes out April 7th, and it's called Mythologies. And so it's one half of Daft Punk coming out, making their solo album. Mike, can you tell me what that is right now? What kind of style is that?
Baroque? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like old school chamber music. I'm gonna guess there's some stringed instruments involved. It definitely sounds a lot more orchestral rather than funky disco French dance music. So
Yeah,
I'm on board.
And like they're saying, it's going to be more like a score. How do you? I'm having a hard time with these people's names. Bangalter, does that sound right? Bangalter. Sure.
He's wearing the helmet. Who cares about what his name is? I mean, we only knew the helmet.
He was wearing the helmet, but as our viewers can see next to you right now, Mike, to your right is a very nice picture of him. But it's the first picture they've released of anybody. There's only 2 members of Daft Punk, but it's the very first picture, and it's an artistic version of him for the album coming out. He's like, I'm gonna take the helmet off, and this is what I look like. But they
said that's a picture. Maybe that's what the guy looks like. I'm willing to entertain that possibility. He was a cartoon before. Maybe he was a cartoon underneath all along.
Mike, does this? What do you think about this? Are you happy he has a solo album coming out? Are you excited about this?
You know, I'm happy, Brian. I can't tell you how many copies of Discovery I made back in when that
so good.
2001. So good. Like,
I know.
Yeah, that you didn't have to be a real big techno aficionado to really get on board with that album, because they just always had that super pop sensibility. And I know that they've been really influential in a lot of the when I ask Alexa, when I ask Alexa to play like, dance hall funky disco stuff, like it comes up with all this different kind of French club music that I have to imagine that these 2 French guys and their robot heads were really influential in kind of making that the sound, and that's still apparently the sound. So I've listened to every album that they've put out in the interim. I was very young. I would have been 13 or 14 when Homework came out. Around the world. Yeah. So, if he wants to expand into a different genre, like I'm ready, and I'll be really surprised. Maybe they really want to branch out into something that's, or he wants to branch out into something that's less commercial, less dancey, but I don't know. I have to imagine that there's still going to be some of that, because the hooks on those guys were incredible, and they always had them. None of their work was without like these massive, huge hooks. So
it's all about the music for them.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see what it is. Definitely give it a chance.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like more like a score, like 90 minutes of like a score to like a feature, as opposed to being, like you said, like their music before is more dance. Tron, I think of Tron automatically. We talked about Tron before. So what was that, Spring?
I can't handle this anymore. He was commissioned to do to create music for a ballet by the same name.
Right.
So it is the score to a ballet. Like the Nutcracker has all those songs that you know forever, and you're like, oh, that's from the Nutcracker. Like, he scored a ballet. And
that's what his new album
asked him to score the ballet. I actually looked on YouTube and found a 2-minute clip of one of the songs, and it very much sounds like a ballet. Like it does not sound very Daft Punky. That's not to say that throughout the course of the entire ballet there isn't more recognizable tones or in there, from their roots, but he was tasked to create music for a ballet, very specifically. And from what I heard, it sounds, I danced for a very, very long time. It sounds very much like anything that I would have danced to. when I was, on point. So it is being released because it is a soundtrack. It's not like a solo adventure. Like he sat in the studio and he's like, I'm going to make these songs and release them. It's the soundtrack the score to a ballet. So I don't know that it's like a comeback or whatever. And I'm not saying that he's not doing anything else.
But it's his first thing by himself though, too.
Well, yeah, but it's not like he sat in a studio and was like, I'm going to make a new album with just me. Like he was asked to create music for a ballet, which he did. And now he's releasing that music from the ballet in an album form.
I think it's still going to have that Daft Punk feel, though. Somehow.
The 2 minutes I listened to did not sound like Daft Punk at all.
Yeah,
again, like anything I would have danced to when I was on point.
I couldn't find it before when I was looking for it, but yeah, now I see it. It sounds like a ballet, doesn't it, Sabrina?
It's a ballet.
I haven't heard it, so that's fantastic. Well, it's good. He's trying something else. He's branching out. Maybe it'll lead to a whole different world, and he'll just be doing more scores for things. That could be good too.
There was rumor back in June that he was in the studio with Lil Nas X. I mean, June was a long time ago, so I feel like something would have dropped by now, but that it may have sparked something and he may be trying to work his way back in. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like he decided to do something on his own without his partner in the studio, like he was commissioned to do this ballet.
Well, they broke up, though. That's the thing. They broke up in 2021.
Right.
So it is his first venture since breaking up, where it's just him rocking and rolling,
Yes.
And I'm interested to see if they get back together for the new Tron movie coming out. I'm just saying. I'm going to keep putting that out there.
Good luck with that.
Tron 3, everybody.
I don't know,
we need some Daft Punk.
You've been working with the same guy for 25 years. Like I don't know if you can really call that a breakup. Like you're saying, hey, I'm gonna go put out some solo stuff, maybe spread my own wings a little bit. I think the other guy's probably gonna be like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I doubt there's any hard feelings, but I haven't looked into it, so maybe it's all robotic. Maybe it's all lasers like blasting at each other, and it was some kind of like massive Ultraman Transformer battle.
The thing is, does anybody actually know what these people look like, the two of them? Because honestly, they put a drawing out like this. Could this actually be the person? Or do they go and record and they're wearing the helmets the whole time, so it could be anybody? That's the question, too. You never know.
That looks like
Sabrina says no.
There's been pictures. I mean, this is the first thing that they released, but people have seen them before. You know what I mean? Like you could Google Daft Punk and
I don't believe it.
You'll see him. You'll see it's clearly him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's actually a picture of the guy in the Dead Mouse helmet. Now that I look closely,
no, it's
it could be.
Not.
It could be. You never know. But Daft Punk, I hope they get back together later on and do some more music. It's great that they're venturing off a little bit. Hopefully they both do their own things. It's always good to see, like Mike was saying, like, hey, hell, we've been doing this for so long. Let me go out and do my own thing and try it out for a while. That's always a good process, and help them grow and maybe find a new musical sound that can come together and create new music later on, maybe in like 10 years or maybe in 5 years, maybe in 2, who knows?
What do you think about back together bad?
I do want them back together really bad. I do. I just love Daft Punk, man. You know what I'm talking about. You love them as much as I do.
I do. They're good.
They're great. They're just so great. And their music and it's so simple. Like the lyrically, it's so simple, but it's all you need. And then the music itself is the driving force, and everyone samples their shit and stuff because it's that fucking good. And
I remember, Brian, you're sparking a memory, because I remember talking to you and you're like, this would have been more than 20 years ago at this point, being like, probably. Okay, Brian, there's some songs out there that don't even have lyrics that are still very good, and you're like, I don't know, Mike. So. I think they might need lyrics to be good, and I'm like, check this shit out, man. 100%. Did that not happen?
It did happen. That's 100% a true story. I will still say that Around the World, though, I still can't get into. That's like my one song. I'm just like, guys,
a little repetitive, yeah.
Yeah, it's too repetitive. But everything else, I'm like, yeah, it's good. Get your
GR. You can't see what the bottom half of me. I'm so ready.
Almost
GR, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Was that a giggle? I don't know if that was a giggle.
Almost.
That was close. That was close. But what do you think about this? Do you think that it's good? Are you excited about Daft Punk separated and doing their own stuff, or do you want them back together like me? Leave us some comments. Let us know.